back to my last video today. Actually, if anyone sees this in the future, it's irrelevant for them anyways, but last video today. The last of 3 Bible studies. Today, Genesis 28, or this video, Genesis 28, 29, and 30. However, I will only be delving a bit deeper into chapter 28 and chapter 29, because in chapter 30 the whole content is just how Jacob's wife basically have beef with each other because they want more children, and then it's a bit of a struggle because Jacob wants to go back to his hometown, and his brother-in-law doesn't want him to leave, but in the end they figure it out. So, chapter 28. First thing I marked out is verse 9. So he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath, the sister of Nebaioth, and the daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham, in addition to the wives he already had. That's talking about Esau marrying a woman of his of Abraham's clan, and not some Canaanite woman. Now, why is that important? Because he does that because he sees that his brother Jacob does it, and his father Isaac isn't pleased with these women. So even though they're currently all beefing with each other, he still does, or he still follows his rules, and still follows the family rules. Now, next thing I have is chapter 29, and there I have a lot. The rest of this chapter is just how Jacob moves. How Jacob has a prophecy where he meets God, and God tells him that he will have many children, and then he builds an altar and stuff. Now, chapter 29. First thing I have marked out is verse 14. Then Laban said to him, "You are my own flesh and blood." And then I have an Orthodox Bible, and they sometimes give, I guess, study tips. So if you also were to buy this, then you have the normal text up here, and then down below you have your, I guess, Orthodox perspective. Now they are talking about how Laban called Jacob let me go back. So what now here? Laban said to him, "You are my own flesh and blood." Laban called Jacob my bone and my flesh, for they were blood relatives. In contrast to this, the church is not based on blood relationships. It is based on the life-giving flesh of Christ, by which those who embrace him in faith become members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. The members of his body are closer in relationship than blood relations. Then the next thing is verse 16. No, it's verse 18. Jacob was in love with Rachel and said, "I'll work for you 7 years in return for your daughter Rachel." Just mark that out. If you really love someone, you will most definitely go to great lengths to be with that person. And then context, there's 2 sisters, and he likes the younger one, Rachel. The older one is called Leah. Now moving on to verse 25. This is basically he worked for this guy Laban, I'm not sure, for 7 years. That was what he had to do in order to marry Rachel. But then we see what happens next. When morning came, there was Leah. So Jacob said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? I served you for Rachel, didn't I? Why have you deceived me?" Laban replied, "It is not our custom here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. Finish this daughter's bridal week, then we will give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years of work." And then verse 30, Jacob made love to Rachel also, and his love for Rachel was greater than his love for Leah, and he worked for Laban for another 7 years. Again, he worked hard for 7 years to be together with Rachel. Then he got basically scammed, but because he loved her so much, he still did it again, and in the end they were able to be together. And then chapter 30, as I said in the beginning, just a beef between the two sisters, who gets more children, who is loved more. Then afterwards it talks about how Jacob wants to leave Laban, and then they struggle with who owns what, but then they figure it out, and then Jacob can leave. But yeah, that's it. I really need to start doing these daily again, simply because I am way too tired. It's already almost 2 a.m. And I want to go to bed sooner, so if I film these during the day, it will obviously help me go to bed sooner. Anyways, goodbye.